Hello students, topic of today's lecture is photoluminescence. Before going for photoluminescence, let's understand what is luminescence in general, and then we will see what is photoluminescence. Luminescence is actually the emission of light, and this emission of light may be because of different reasons. Now, if this emission of light is because we are supplying energy by heat mechanism. Thermally, if we are supplying energy to some system, and in response to that supplied energy, we get light emission, we call it incandescence. And if the emission of light is taking place because we have supplied energy by light itself, we call it photoluminescence. There are many kind of luminescence which are listed here. You can read them yourself. For example, fluorescence means if the supplied energy to the system is by the mean of ultraviolet light, then whatever emission, a fresh emission is taking place from the sample, that is known as fluorescence. We are basically concerned in this lecture about photoluminescence. So we will confine our discussion to the photoluminescence, where the light is supplied to the system and that light is interacting with the sample, and because of that interaction the sample is emitting a different light. Different light means the light of different wavelength of different energy, but the light emission is taking place because your sample is interacting with light. So that's why we call it photoluminescence, emission of light because of interaction with photons. Now what happens here? You can see here, suppose this is our sample. This is our sample. Now a incident laser creates electron hole pairs. So this incident light which is falling here on the sample, that may get absorbed by the sample. And you know the properties of semiconductors, they absorb light, they absorb some radiations, and if the energy of those radiations is greater than the band gap of the material, those radiations will get absorbed there. If the energy of the radiations is less than band gap, then that radiation will not be absorbed by the semiconductor. So the semiconductor will behave as a transparent material for that particular wavelength or for that particular radiation. But if the energy is greater than band gap of the material, there are chances and not chances that radiation will certainly be absorbed by the material. Now what happens after absorption of that radiation or that energy? Electron hole pairs will be produced into the material, EHP. They are indicated here. This open loop is representing hole, and this dark circle is representing electron. So electron hole pair is created here. You know, this electron hole pair, this system will relax after some time. Relax means it will go to its original state, means there are chances that the electron hole pair will recombine. So when this relaxation takes place, because of this recombination process, energy will be released from the system, and that energy may be in the form of visible light, and then we can say that the light has been emitted from the system, right? And whatever light is emitted because of this relaxation process or because of this recombination process, that can be detected by the help of detector, and this entire process is photoluminescence. So this energy spectrum is plotted here. The energies which are being emitted by this sample, they all are plotted here. Different peaks are there. So these particular wavelengths are emitted, or these particular energies are emitted by the sample in response to the input signal. Now all these emitted radiations, these peaks, they corresponds to certain kind of recombination process which is taking place into the material. So all those recombination process, they are summarized here in this figure. So the first transition, so this first transition means this particular transition, you can see here, this happens when light falls onto the material, the light have energy h mu. This is being absorbed, and this transition is taking place, means electron hole pair is generated. So this dark portion, this dark circle means electron, and this open circle means hole. Now in the next transition, which are indicated here in the figure, they are the relaxation processes. So this relaxation can take place like band to band transition. This electron that is recombining with this hole, and in this process, if this kind of relaxation or this kind of recombination process takes place, the energy which is emitted, that is equal to the band gap of the material, Eg, right? So if in the spectrum, if we get the energy which is equal to the Eg, band gap of the material, so we can say that the transition which is occurring into the material, that is band to band transition. And other possibilities are also there. Maybe if it is a n-type semiconductor, donor impurities are there. So donor energy level Ed is there. So it is indicated here, for example, in this part here, right here. This Ed energy level is indicated if electron exists here in this energy state, and if it is recombining with the hole which is present into the valence band. Now whatever energy is emitted during this transition, that is not equal to the band gap, that is slightly less than the band gap. So we have to see here in the absorption spectrum, if the energy of the emitted signal is less than band gap, it means there are possibility that the transition which is taking place, that is from the donor level to valence band, or from conduction band to the acceptor level, or from donor level to acceptor level, means Ed minus Ea, this energy has been emitted. So these kind of transitions are taking place. So you can see that with the help of this photoluminescence process, it is possible to identify what kind of recombination process taking place into the material in response to the input signal. And this transition is a indication that what kind of energy levels are present there, or what kind of defects are present there, because defects also introduce a kind of energy level in the middle of band gap. And if we can identify that the transition which is taking place there, that involves that energy level which is created by the defect, so we can identify that defect is present there, and what is the energy level of that defect, and the intensity of these peaks, that indicates that how much is the density of defects, or what kind of impurities are present there, that can also be identified, because the all impurity levels, they introduce a kind of energy level, either Ed or Ea. So it is possible to identify what kind of impurity is present into the material, or how much is the density, or you can say the concentration of that particular impurity into the material. So the photoluminescence is an important technique for measuring the purity and crystalline quality of the semiconductors. So purity means if any impurity is added, this impurity is introducing the energy levels, and so the recombination process or the emission of energy, if it is less than band gap, it means certain impurity is present. And the same way, defects are, as I told you, defects are also introducing energy level. So it is possible to identify whether defects are present there or not. So crystalline quality of the material can be observed with the help of PL very easily. And it is also possible to do the quantification of the amount of disorder. So I told you the intensity of this peak, that is an indication that how many or how much is the density of that particular defect or particular impurity which is present into the material. So in short, we can say that PL spectroscopy is a useful characterization tool for wide range of applications. For example, evaluation of light emitting material and devices. So you see the sample is emitting a light. It means this technique is useful for those materials which have possibility of emitting light, right? Mostly in case of direct band gap semiconductor it happens. So this technique can also be used for finding out band gap determination, because if crystal quality is good, then only recombination process which can happen into the material, that is a band to band transition. So if that if we can identify the energy of the emitted radiation, and only one particular recombination process is taking place into the material, then there are chances that this recombination is band to band recombination. So that energy corresponds to the band gap of the material. So it's possible to identify the band gap of the material with the help of PL technique. So defect and impurity level detection, I already explained it, and it is also helpful in the study of recombination mechanism. So you have seen that the recombination mechanism is deciding what is the energy of the emitted radiation. So what kind of recombination mechanism is dominating into material, that can also be identified with the help of photoluminescence process. Now let's go in little detail about the photoluminescence. Now the sample is excited with the help of an optical source. Typically it is a laser source with energy h mu greater than Eg. Eg is the band gap of material. So the energy with which we are exciting the material, that energy should be greater than band gap, so that electron hole pair can get generated there because of absorption of this energy. And then our focus is to see how this electron hole pair which is generated there is recombining again. It is system is relaxing, is going to the relaxed state again. Now the sample normally is placed in a cryostate. You can see here this is a laser source, and then the sample is placed here. This is sample here. So the sample is placed in a cryostate, that is at low temperature. It's cooled to temperature near liquid helium, right? It is important that sample is mounted in a strain free manner, because any kind of stress or strain if introduced into the sample, that will affect the emitted light. So we want emitted light to characterize the type of defect, to find out the impurities, their concentration, that kind of information we want, and we want that intensity to get affected only because of that particular information in which we are interested. Any stress or strain, that must be avoided. The low temperature is necessary because if we see the fullest spectroscopic information, then our purpose is to get that information only because of the impurities and defects. So many kind of recombination processes can be there which are activated thermally, and they are non-radiative recombination process. So any thermally activated radiation process or a recombination process, that we have to avoid, right? So in for that purpose, it's better that we minimize the thermal effects, and for that purpose the sample is kept at very low temperature in the cryostate. The temperature is near liquid helium. Now the multiple recombination process which has been discussed earlier also, they are shown again. The photon energy depends on the recombination process as illustrated in the figure. The 5 commonly observed PL transitions are shown here. So this first process is because of absorption of photon, incident photon, and all other they are recombination processes which are producing your PL signal. The PL signal is produced by these recombination processes. Now first, this is band to band. This A is band to band recombination process. It dominates at room temperature, but it is rarely observed at low temperature in the materials with small effective mass. If other kind of impurities are absent, other kind of defects are absent, then this band to band recombination will dominate, and if that is dominating, so it can be used as an indication of band gap of the material. So we just have to see what is the energy of the emitted radiation, and that energy is equal to the band gap. Now another possibility, you can see the excitation. excitonic recombination. So figure B, this part, exciton. Exciton means you can see here, this is a donor site and this is a acceptor site. So a free electron and a hole which are present there, they are produced here. They are interacting, and they are in the actually a type of bonded state. They move together into the material, and since it is a bound electron hole pair, so the net charge remains 0 because the electron is there and a hole is there, so net charge is 0. So when the both electron and hole, they are moving together, then neither photoconductivity or current results. So no current, we cannot say that the current is flowing because the electron and hole both are moving together. So if that kind of bound state is there, that doesn't produce any current into the system. Now if this kind of recombination is taking place, that can also be identified very easily because the energy of the emitted radiation, from there we can see. Now another possibility is that a free hole means the hole which is present here in the valence band, that is combining with a neutral donor. This is a neutral donor here. We call it neutral donor because here electron has not transferred to the conduction band. It is still attached to its parent dopant atom. So that's why we call it is a neutral donor. Now this electron, if it is recombining with the hole, then we call it a bound exciton, right? So that kind of recombination can also be identified. So another possibility is this, that a free electron is recombining with a neutral acceptor. Again, neutral acceptor means the acceptor atom is there, acceptor dopant is there into the material, but the hole is not still free. This is attached to its original parent atom. And this kind of band-to-band transition can also take place, that you can say a neutral donor is recombining with a neutral acceptor. So all these kind of recombination processes, they will produce a certain energy, and from that energy it's possible to identify the type of impurity which is present there, and it's also possible to find out the location of the energy level which is introduced because of this impurity. Now if the material is sufficiently pure, the free exciton form and recombine by emitting photons. Now the photon energy in direct band gap semiconductor, where band gap energy is easy, so the energy, photon energy, is given by this equation. So Ex is the exciton binding energy and Eg is the band gap energy. So Eg minus Ex, that is the energy of the emitted photon. Now this is the case in case of direct band gap semiconductor. If we are working with indirect band gap semiconductor, in case of indirect band gap semiconductor, the emission of energy is not always in the form of light. So the energy is used in the form of phonons also. So if we are working with indirect band gap semiconductor, for example silicon, then whatever radiations we are getting at the output, their energy will be given by normally by this equation. Eg is the band gap energy, Ex is the exciton energy, and Ep is the phonon energy. So some part of the energy is used in the phonons also. So whatever is the left out energy, that will come out of the sample, and that we can measure or we can observe in the photoluminescence spectrum. So I hope that this topic is clear. Photoluminescence is very good technique, and with the help of this technique, it is possible to find out the band gap of material. It is possible to find out what kind of impurity is present there, and we can quantify it also, means how much is the concentration of the dopant, particular kind of dopant into material. So we can find out defect. So you can say that it's possible to find out the quality of crystallinity of the material. If still you have any doubt, you can discuss with me later on.